Hey guys, this is Omaha. Welcome to my ultimate Recon Class guide. Today I'm going to be going over both training paths, breaking them down, as well as giving you tips and tricks for every single gadget in the game. I'm also going to give you tips on how to complete every Recon assignment. There's a lot of really good stuff in here. Hope you guys enjoy. So the Recon's Class gadget, which is always equipped and you can't change it, is the Tug's motion sensor. So basically you place this at your feet, and in this pretty decent sized area around you, it will auto mark enemies on the mini-map as long as they are moving and standing up. If they are crouch walking or prone, it's not going to pick them up at all. Just keep in mind that it does beep like this constantly, so enemies can hear it when it's a little bit quiet, but during the middle of firefights and stuff, they're not really going to hear anything. The Recon Class's signature weapon is the sniper rifle, so you'll have proficiency with this, which means you'll get improved marksmanship skills, including reduced weapon sway, quicker rechambering between shots, and better breath control for steadier aim. So on screen, I've got a comparison with and without the proficiency, and you can see me holding breath with the sniper proficiency towards the end of that. And then you'll see me rechambering the shots. Doesn't seem to be a big difference to me. And if you guys are looking for a breakdown of all the sniper rifles and a guide to those and which one's the best and all that, I'm going to do that in a separate video just because when it comes to the other classes, they have a lot more guns. So if I end up doing that for this video, I'll probably have to do it for that. So for consistency's sake, I'm going to do it in a separate video so I can do it separately for the other classes as well. So the signature trait of the Recon class is called Aim Spot. Basically, this auto spots enemies for you when you're aim down sight looking at them for the entire team, in world and on the minimap. Normally the other classes, they have to press the spot button, which is Q on the keyboard, and I'm not sure what it is on controller, but Recon will just do it automatically. And the other classes do have auto spotting, but it's a little bit confusing because they actually only spot for themselves and not for the whole team. The difference can be identified by the diamond. So the diamond's hollow if it's just for you, and it's filled in if it's for the entire team to see. Recon class comes with two training paths. The first one you start with is Sniper, which is what you traditionally would think of with Recon, and this comes with the perks Enhanced Perception. So this one improves your auto spotting range with 33% increased distance and 10% wider angle of detection from your crosshair. Spotting is quicker and lasts 3 seconds longer. So this already enhances the ability of the sniper or the Recon to auto spot when aimed down sight of enemies. Second perk is Target Acquired. So anytime you damage an enemy, it's also going to spot them. And then the third one, which is really powerful, is Confirmed Kill. Enemy soldiers you kill with headshots from a sniper cannot be revived. And then the ultimate ability, which is shared with the other training, is the UAV Recon. So once you get enough score for this, you'll press 6 on the keyboard. I don't know what it is on controller, and it'll call a UAV above your position, which can be locked onto and destroyed by the enemy, by the way. And that will mark all the enemies within that area for 60 seconds. The second training path for Recon is Spec Ops, and this one is basically made for sneaking around behind enemy lines undetected. So your first perk is Stealth Tactics, reduces the sounds you make when crouched or prone. Also applies to performing takedowns on an enemy, and I'll put a comparison up here on the screen. So this perk actually makes a really big difference in games. I've noticed when I'm using it, I'm able to sneak behind the enemy a lot more consistently and get a lot of kills that way, especially when you complement it with a suppressor. The second perk is Gadget Awareness. You spot nearby enemy gadgets, marking their position in world and on the minimap. And this is inactive while sprinting. So as long as you're not sprinting, you'll be able to auto spot all this stuff around you. The third perk is Low Profile. Going prone clears your in combat state 1.5 seconds faster and reduces your spotted status duration by 33%. So you're spotted for a lot less time. And the in combat state, basically what that means is when you're trying to spawn on teammates, you can't spawn on them when they're in a combat state. So this will allow teammates to spawn on you faster. It also starts your health regeneration faster. You cannot regen health when you're in a combat state. And then finally, your active ability is the UAV Overwatch, is the same as the sniper training path. So the first Recon gadget is the laser designator, and you start out with this. It's basically a pair of thermal binoculars that allows you to spot and mark enemy vehicles and locations. So what that does is it allows the Stinger missile and the Javelin, as well as a lot of the vehicles, to lock on to that vehicle or location a lot quicker and from a lot farther away. So normally the Javelin missile has a range of about 700 meters and the Stinger missile's roughly around 450, correct me if I'm wrong. And with the laser designator, this turns the Stinger missile into about a 750 meter range. And the Javelin can basically go across every map at that point. And here on screen, I'm going to show you the difference between with and without the speed of locking on. So when you're holding these binoculars, you can see on the left, there's a little range indicator there. And you'll just hold the left click button or the trigger, whatever you're using, controller, mouse, keyboard, to paint the vehicle. Or you can paint the terrain. And yes, I did test this out. You can paint the terrain and designate an area basically for an airstrike. So if a jet's flying over or somebody else has a missile that locks onto this, including the javelin, you can target this and basically nuke an area. The same thing goes with the tracer dart because it does the same thing. The mark from both the laser designator and the tracking dart will last about 20 seconds or so. Another thing you can do with this laser designator is you can place it down and a small cone in front of it. It's not a very wide cone, and it will auto paint vehicles for you. And then if you press the gadget button again and pull out this, you can actually control it remotely, and it operates the same as it would if you're holding it like the binocular version. You can also zoom in with 3 different zoom levels with this. Just keep in mind, while you are painting a target, you will have a red light coming out of your soft lamp, and it will tell the enemy that they're getting painted if you're targeting a vehicle. Next up, we have the Recon Drone, and in my opinion, this is probably the strongest gadget in the entire game. Basically, you can fly above the enemy and spot the entire enemy force. It does make a buzzing sound, which you can hear if you're paying attention. A lot of people seem to not pay attention to it, but it's basically like wall hacks for your entire team. It can also destroy enemy gadgets and see them through walls. So you can see the gadget outlined in red through a wall and still destroy it through the wall. You're also able to exit the drone and it'll auto spot enemies for you, although it's not as effective as if you're controlling it yourself. And then finally, yes, you can strap C4 to this, but the more C4 you add onto it, the faster the battery drains. So if you add like 3 C4, you really can't go very far. If you add 1, you can go a decent distance, but you're probably not going to kill anything with it. So it's kind of a mixed bag. It kind of depends on how close you are to the enemy. Another fun thing you can do with the Recon Drone is you can destroy enemy anti-tank mines, and in turn blow up their own vehicles or infantry with those mines. And one last thing, if you target an enemy on a mortar, it will kill the enemy and they cannot be revived. So that is extremely powerful when you're trying to counter mortars. Next up is the Sniper Decoy, and this is a really fun gadget. It's actually very effective, so it does a couple things. Depending on what height you are, when you place this, it will copy that same height. So if you're standing up, it'll be standing up. If you're crouched, it'll emulate crouching. And if you're prone, it'll actually look like somebody's prone. It also, if you're close enough, takes away your scope glint and puts it on itself. So you won't have scope glint, but the decoy will. And then the final effect of it is when an enemy shoots it, it marks them in the real world and on the mini-map, so it's easy to see who's sniping at you, and you can counter snipe really easily with it. After that, we have the anti-personnel mine. This is basically just a claymore. It does a decent amount of damage. However, enemies that are crouched or prone will not trigger the device. So you want to put this inside doorways or whatever, and it will stay if you die. So just keep that in mind. I've died, respawned, and it has still got me kills. And there's also times where enemies run right through it and it doesn't even go off, or it goes off too late, or it doesn't do enough damage to kill somebody. So it's not 100% reliable, but most of the time I would say you'll get the kill. So the next gadget is the tracer dart. This provides the exact same effect as the laser designator. You just want to shoot it directly on a vehicle and it'll stick to it, painting it for friendly lock-ons. And with this, you can also target the environment, like I mentioned earlier, and on top of that, you can target enemy infantry. So that guy will run around painted and able to be locked onto. And finally, we have the C4 that everybody all knows and loves. It's pretty self-explanatory. You can kind of get pretty creative with this and do whatever you can think of. You can strap it to friendly vehicles and run them into the enemy. You can lay it on the ground for a trap for a vehicle driving by. You can run up to the vehicle itself and place it on the vehicle. You can strap it to the drone like I mentioned earlier, strap it to a helicopter, really whatever you can think of. Against enemy vehicles, we'll do about 334 damage per C4. It doesn't seem to really matter where you place it on the vehicle. It'll always do 334 damage, and 3 C4s is usually enough to take out a Bradley. The Recon class also comes with 2 unique throwables that the other classes don't have. Well, first of all, you have the frag grenade, which the other classes do have, but you also have the proximity detector, which is basically a throwable motion sensor. It does the exact same thing as the normal motion sensor, except you just throw it like a grenade. This can be really, really good near objectives, kind of whatever you can think of. And then the other one is the throwing knife. So the throwing knife will instant kill as long as you hit the head. If you do not hit the head, it will delay enemy health regeneration for 10 seconds. So it seems to take about 2 to the body to get a kill. It throws kind of slow and it's slow to pull out and all that. So it's not super effective, but it is kind of fun. And if you're good enough getting headshots with this, it's pretty insane. It's pretty cool. And it doesn't have a lot of drop either. You can actually throw it pretty far. All right, next we'll talk about the recon challenges. So in general, these are not very difficult. They're pretty easy as long as they track. When I was doing these challenges, along with the other class challenges, a lot of the games, they wouldn't track at all. They would just stop tracking completely. But as long as it's tracking, maybe they fixed it by the time this video comes out, you should be doing these pretty quick. Just adding this in, post-recording everything else. Today, they lower the requirements from this from level 20 down to level 10. All right, so for the first one, your 2 challenges are to spot 250 enemies in objective areas with recon gadgets and earn 10,000 score. Both of these can easily be done with the Recon Drone on breakthrough, especially if you're on offense, because the defenders are going to be sitting on the objective already. You can easily get over 100 something in a match. It's very, very easy, very quick. Won't take you long at all, and that's also going to go towards your 10,000 scores recon. 9 times out of 10, I was top player in the game with like barely any kills, just marking targets with a Recon Drone. It gives you a lot of score, and it's really easy to do. So once you complete that, you'll unlock C4, the Bronze Recon badge in Recon 2, and then the Recon 2 challenge is to get 50 headshots over 150 meters of recon. So this kind of goes hand in hand with the PSR challenge, except this one is actually a lot easier, even though it's only a 50-meter difference, and it's only 50. It's not getting like 200. Basically, one of the better spots for this is offense on Operation Firestorm, Breakthrough, or Rush. Or if you're on Liberation Peak Conquest, you can sit in your spawn and you shoot towards the C objective. I think that's the one on the hill. A lot of people love to snipe there, and that's easily over 150 meters, so you can get a lot there. Once you complete that, you'll get the Spec Ops Training Path, the Spec Ops preset, which is like a 3rd loadout, the Silver Recon badge, and then you'll get the Recon 3 challenge. The Recon 3 challenge is trick 30 enemies into hitting your field dummy. The gadget, this one's really easy. It doesn't take very long at all. You just basically place them all over the place, and people will shoot them eventually. There's not really a secret trick to that I can think of. Once you complete that, you'll get the head count player card, Deadeye character patch, the gold Recon badge, and then the Recon Expert 1 challenge. So Recon Expert 1 challenge is to spot 300 enemies at objectives using Recon gadgets. This is the exact same as using the Recon Drone from the first one, and you got to get 40,000 scores. So same exact strategy. I would just do the same thing you did for the first challenge. Just get in the Recon Drone, especially on offense, on breakthrough, and you'll get this done really, really quickly. Once you complete that, you'll unlock the tracking dart, the Platinum Recon badge, and then the second Recon Specialist challenge. So the second one, you have to laser designate targets that take 2,000 damage, and then mark 25 vehicles using the tracking dart. So for me, the easiest one by far to do this in is either Conquest, or probably even better is Escalation, because Escalation has the most vehicles out of all the game modes. Basically, just paint everything you see. Eventually, you're going to get it. People will try to hit stuff. Eventually, not many people laser designate stuff, so it's kind of nice when someone does do it. Once you complete that, you'll get the Recon Mission Player background card, and you'll unlock the final Recon challenge. So for this one, you got to get 10 headshot kills over 200 meters as Recon in a match, and deal 3,000 damage with the C4 explosive. So the C4 is on its own. You don't have to do that in one match. But the 10 headshot kills over 200 meters as Recon in a match, the place I did this on was Conquest Liberation Peak. If you're doing offense on Breakthrough, it's that spawn. So you start there, you sit in your spawn, and you aim at the hill, the C objective. All those kills will be over 200 meters. It's going to be really easy. A lot of people like to snipe there, like I said earlier for the other challenge. I did all of that my first try pretty quickly. I got ended up getting probably 18 of them, so it wasn't too bad. And then when you complete that, you'll unlock 2 skins, the Coyote Squad Recon skin, which I'll probably have on screen here, and then the Dead Sight Fire Team Vedmac Recon skin, which I'll also put on screen. You also get the Silent Strike player card title and the final Elite Recon badge. And that is my full breakdown of the Recon class. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. It took me a really long time to make, and it took away from my Battlefield gaming time. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.